Happy September, my precious flock. Are you already enjoying the last bit of summer that we have for 2025? Because if you're not, get out there and do so. What are you waiting for? Fall is literally right around the corner, and where I live, we already got the sneak peek preview of it. And as of yesterday, we actually have late nights that are in the 50s and high 60s. So, yes, fall is literally right around the corner. At least for where I live, it is already here. So, it's time to start cracking out those winter blankets and preparing for the colder nights. And in the meantime, I have an amazing installment of the RNNC podcast that you won't forget. Some of you may have heard of this. Some of you might know the animation, but don't remember the name. But today's podcast is about a TV show that was on Cartoon Network called Swat Kats. And this was personally requested by, well, a long-term fan. So I had to oblige. Let's get nostalgical, shall we? Swat Kats was released 32 years ago today, on September 11th of 1993, under the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera block and the TBS Superstation. It was part of the Sunday Morning In Front lineup. This lineup ran from 1993 to 1995. Every one of the Swat Kats episodes were directed by Robert Alvarez. While a good majority of the series was written by Glenn Leopold, who did 15 episodes, and Lance Falk, who did 5 episodes, there were a lot of contributions made by other people, including but not limited to Jim Stenstrom, who did 2 episodes, David Ehrman, Vaughn Williams, Eric Clarks, and Mark Saraceni and Jim Katz. Spoiler alert! The series stars main characters Jake Fraser Clausen, who is voiced by Barry Gordon, and Chance T-Bone Furlong, who is voiced by Charlie Adler. Fraser and Chance are part of their city, Mega Cat City's paramilitary law enforcement, better known as the Enforcers. For those who do not know what the word paramilitary means, it is literally defined as a force or unit that functions and is organized in a manner that is similar to a military force, but does not have a professional or legitimate status. So basically, Jake and Chance were their own independent military force. Unfortunately, Jake and Chance also received a dishonorable discharge from their group for disobeying direct orders. These orders were given to them by a commander named Commander Farrell. Now, the show's main villain was a character named Dark Cat, who was a very large and intelligent but devious purple cat that often donned a black and red hooded cloak. And like every good show's villain, DK, Dark Cat, wanted his own version of Mega Cat City. He even planned on naming it Dark Cat City appropriately. Whoa. It should come as no surprise that this city would have become ruthless and lawless in nature if it had come to be Dark Cat City. DK was first introduced to fans in the episode The Wrath of Dark Cat. Jake and Chance had rebelled against the Enforcers after they were discharged, respectively, and in turn began building weapons from their local salvage yard. One of those designs was a 3-engine fighter jet. Many of their fans may recognize the name Turbo Cat jet. This jet had a very close resemblance to what would be a F-14 fighter jet. This led to the beginning of the SWAT carts that the SWAT Kats were bringing into society, and being known for defending their city against any and all evil villains. The SWAT Kat villains not only include Dark Cat, but a laundry list of many others too, including, but not limited to, the Sorcerer Taskmaster, who is voiced by King Curtis, a mutant evil genius known as Dr. Viper, who is voiced by the iconic Frank Welker of Pagemaster and Scooby-Doo, and the Metallicats, which are robots. The SWAT Kats even faced what many called Villain of the Week from time to time. There was also Mudcat, Rex Shard, Volcanus, and even Dr. Harley Treat. The SWAT Kats were known for keeping their identities secret, especially from their mayor, Deputy Mayor Callie, and Mayor Nix, who was voiced by the Disney legend himself, Jim Cummings. Unfortunately, there was only 2 seasons of the show, and it ends with the niece of Harold, who is a lieutenant in the Enforcers, becoming an ally of the SWAT Kats. Reception. SWAT Kats became the #1 kids animated show of 1994, and this was announced by 2 different people, the Nielsen Television Index and the Nielsen Syndication Service. SWAT Kats was also covered in the 1994 fall edition of Toon Magazine as well. So, what happened to SWAT Kats? Well, Hanna-Barbera Productions did consider releasing new episodes, as well as other SWAT Kat media, but unfortunately the plans fell through. Ultimately, it led to the canceling of the show with 3 uncompleted episodes that never aired. But why? Well, it is alleged that Ted Turner, who was the CEO of Turner Broadcasting System at the time, was a little more than upset about the amount of violence in SWAT Kats. This led to a serious delay on merchandise and eventually the cancellation of the show. Yet that didn't stop Ted Turner from making it a prominent decision about the show's cancellation, because he went before Congress, yes, the Congress, with a declaration statement that we have more than enough cartoons than anyone, including the Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Smurfs, Scooby-Doo, and they're non-violent. We do not need to worry about encouraging kids to each other like some other cartoon programming companies do. So a quick interjection before I carry on, because there has been something bothering me about that statement since I first found out that Ted Turner had stated that, and there's something that I need to say about this, because, you know, Raven asks the real questions that nobody else wants to or has the courage to. I'm gonna start by saying, what? So, Ted Turner is literally going down to Congress in 1994 and complaining to Congress about a TV show that has kid-friendly violence in it that is airing on his broadcasting channel. I'm going to repeat that. Ted Turner goes down to Congress to complain about his broadcasting system, better known as his cartoon channel, showcasing a show like this that has kid-friendly violence in it. Does anybody else get the ick from that? Like, does it irk anybody else? Or is it just me? And I'm going to carry on by throwing a little bit of shade his way, because he kind of did have a good platform. He just did not have a good platform. I see where he's coming from, but he really went meow the other way. You know what I'm saying? And here's why. Because from the 1990s to early 2000s, I can name a small handful of shows that had kid-friendly violence in it. You had almost any and all Disney movies that showcased a boss battle, if you really want to get technical. You had Looney Tunes. You had Looney Tunes Space Jam movie. You had Tom and Jerry, Tommy Jerry Kids. You even had Power Rangers, even though it was live action, just to get a basic gist of how many things out there were kid-friendly violence. And he's sitting there going, I'm gonna cry about my broadcasting system putting on this show because it's got kid-friendly violence in it. Are you serious? Are you serious? I wish this happened in today's society where we have social media and stuff, because I can perfectly guarantee Ted Turner would have been laughed into oblivion through social media. Again, I see where he's coming from. He went about it the wrong way. He is CEO of the company that aired the show. If you didn't like the show in the first place, why did you let it make it past the pilot episode? Raven asking the real questions. Many allege that this was a direct poke at the more adult cartoon shows at that time, like Beavis and Butthead, which was known for its more realistic and violent nature shows or episodes. Luckily, this theory was disproven and labeled misconstrued by fans and Hanna-Barbera executives as a, quote, anti-violence policy. On July 23rd, 2015, there was a Kickstarter project launched by the creators Christian and Yvonne Tremblay in hopes to revive Swat Kats with a new series, which would include a 70-minute long movie as well. The Kickstarter was a complete success and obtaining a $50,000 budget on July 24th, 2015. Holy crow, that is a full day later! That is almost near impossible and never heard of on Kickstarter. Dang! This money is going to be used for its concept art production, promotional material, and in hopes that the promotional material would aid in locking in an investor for the show. There was also another goal of $200,000 launched that was in hopes of creating a 22-minute long episode, while a pledge. And this money was going to be used for its concept art production, promotional material, and in hopes that the promotional material would aid in locking in an investor for the show. They also had another major goal for $200,000. That would hopefully help the Tremblay brothers produce a 22-minute episode. But there was hopes that if it exceeded $1 million, they could do another mini-series that would include a 5-episode set. The Kickstarter ended on August 22nd of 2015, surpassing the $100,000 goal with a grand total of $141,500 pledged. The Kickstarter ended on August 22nd, 2015, surpassing the $100,000 goal with a grand total of over $141K pledged. This would give a 2-minute long trailer to help promote the show's new launch with it. The Tremblay brothers announced on February 17, 2016 that they were indeed working on the development of the trailer. This new launch was called Swat Kats Revolution. It was confirmation that Warner Brothers was interested in the series, and Warner Brothers had planned on bringing it back through the Boomerang platform. But after much deliberation, the Tremblay brothers were unable to convince the Warner Brothers parent company to commit to the new series. The Tremblay brothers then began working with investors to create independent episodes to launch online, specifically for streaming only. In 2020, July 23rd to be exact, a Kickstarter update was launched by Christian Tremblay, which addressed many of the issues of why Swat Kats was taking so long for a relaunch. The caption read as follows: "It has been a long time coming to provide an update on Swat Kats Revolution. We sincerely apologize. I hope this update will bring you comfort that the efforts to bring back Swat Kats is very much alive, and we are actively pushing to make it happen. Swat Kats is a very personal project for us. That's why we care so much about it. It's the first property we've created that got into production, and we own a set of rights that allows us to produce new content, such as a new TV series. For us, the challenge is not if a new series will be produced, but when will it be done. Producing quality broadcast television is an extremely difficult endeavor. We know because we have done it many times before. But today, probably even more so, since the need for content is so important that the broadcasters or any streaming platforms in the world are flooded with producers, production companies, distributors, rights owners, etc. from all over the world to make it into production. And that overflow and clutter of second-tier quality television series, for the most part, doesn't make it easy. There is also the business end of it. Some studios or larger groups have output deals with broadcasters or streamers that limit the opportunity for smaller producers to get their series into the pipeline because there are still so many limits to the number of new shows broadcasters or streamers can greenlight. Also, one of the biggest hurdles is the ability to fund a television series, as several millions of dollars are necessary for financing a TV series. Furthermore, the business deal needs to make sense with the parties involved, and these can get complicated. With all the above said, I can relate to the producers getting their reward, Emmy, Oscar, etc., and telling everyone how their project took 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or more to realization. I think the producers of the Bohemian Rhapsody movie took them 10 years to make it, and it was Queen, one of the biggest rock bands in history. We are approaching SK Revolution with a very business-minded strategy. Get the right partners on board, launch a new television series, and build a franchise based on the rights that we own. We are convinced we can do something along the lines of Deadpool or Iron Man. But in order to do this, we need to have everything properly in place, and that takes time. We surely hope we can have it made. We surely hoped we could have had it happen sooner. So yes, These last few years have been frustrating for us, and we understand for you all as well. In regards to SK, not everyone is enthusiastic about it as we are. We can understand that. Some overseas potential partners and investors even told us SK is too old a brand, too risky, basically. So we encountered roadblocks after roadblocks. Hulu passed, Netflix passed, Warner Brothers passed. Amazon was not really the place for it and changed its animated content approach. A fairly important movie producer wanted to bring Swat Kats to Netflix, but he has an output deal. And ultimately, the deal did not make sense for us. I cannot count the number of potential business investors we've met, trips we've done, meetings we've held. There have been many opportunities we believed were very promising, with some very important many major studios, among others. And we hold on to those opportunities to bring some good news only to fall apart. Some additional difficulties were unexpected, such as the movie Cats. Yeah, we all know about Cats. And it being a major box office disaster, ridiculed by everyone. Let's just say we had to let the dust clear on this one before we could even approach anyone in the industry for our show. So they could not make any types of similarities between the two properties. This is a Hollywood mindset. When something bombs at the box office, it becomes radioactive. If the movie would have been a success, Hollywood would have put any anthropomorphic movies or TV series into production, and SK would have been on the front lines. I'm not bringing any of this as any kind of excuse, but I wanted to explain the complexities of the entertainment industry. I hope this helps you understand a bit more. Nonetheless, we have positive moves forward. Even if the streamers have passed, we can always make a comeback. Executives change all the time, and one of them may remember SK, be a fan, and may want to be part of bringing it back. We have created a 5-part mini-series as a potential strategy to launch the series, along with a movie treatment, including visual development, that I would like to share with all of you in the future, as an ongoing discussion is on the way. We are currently working with some power hitters in Hollywood that would bring a lot of weight to SK, and negotiating business deals that can be very beneficial as well. We are hoping to push HBO Max, as I believe it would be the perfect project for them since they are part of the Warner Brothers family. Before COVID-19, Cartoon Network was tracking SK, so this is a possibility as well. We are more than motivated than ever before. We have seen and encountered roadblocks in the past, and we remain resilient. It's not one of the hundreds of no's that count. It's the one yes that allows everything to fall into place. We will make SK happen, no matter how hard or how long it takes. We sincerely appreciate your support. Kind regards, Christian. Reboot attempt number 2. On January 19th of 2022, there was another Kickstarter campaign update that was launched by Christian Tremblay once again, which announced that the Tremblay brothers have teamed up with Toons Media Group to bring you Swat Kats Revolution. February 1st, 2022, it was announced through several websites that the new Swat Kats show was going to go into pre-production and was geared to kids between the ages of 5 and 11 years old. These sites also contained additional media details. So I understand you guys are listening to this podcast in September of 2025, but I do have some good news. Swat Kats' Kickstarter has been updated as of August 4th, 2025. Yep, it has been updated. However, the updates are not verbal communications with Christian or his brother, like the previous quote I read. The catch is, as of August, we have a poster. It says, "Dear SK fans all over the world, the power is now in your hands." It's been a long time coming. The wait is over. This is now. And then it says funding stages. So they are getting ready to do another Kickstarter. Unless if that's from the old original launch. There are rewards for things like t-shirts, postcards, digital wallpapers, limited edition prints, a signed book, etc., etc. And then it says now available new pledge items. There's t-shirts and sweatshirts or hoodies. There's lanyards, there's pins, stickers, just to name a few. So, is this a good sign that all of you SK fans are actually getting an official relaunch? Because for somebody who's never seen this series, I will probably say this, I hope you do. You guys are so devoted to this fan base, and just reading into this series, I'm highly intrigued to see what could come out of it. And my other big question is this: how come the original 2-season series was never put on anything like a VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, or anything of that sort for fans to enjoy? Missed opportunity much? Or are they waiting for the new series to come out and then launching those options with the possible unfinished 3 episodes that could potentially be finished at this point? Interesting thought, right? Okay. Toys. Their toys were produced by Lemit in 1994, and there was a small line of action figures that were launched, which include the popular characters T-Bone, Razor, Dark Cat, and Dr. Viper. Swat Kat toys were also included into kids' meals for Carl's Jr.'s and White Castle in the 90s as well. Video games. A Swat Kats video game was released for Nintendo Super NES platform on August 21st of 1995. It was developed by AIM under the 45 Co. Limited Name, which is a Japanese software company that is best known for its Tokyo Bus Guide game title. That was for Sega Dreamcast. There was also a game for Sega that was to be published or released based on Swat Kats that was unfortunately canceled before it was finished being developed. This game was being developed by Traveler's Tale and would have been launched on the Sega Mega Drive, or as many know it, Sega Genesis console. Now, aside from the August 4th, 2025 update that I found while I was looking up that quote that I just read to you guys, there was no real new updates on Swat Kats and its revival when I was researching this. However, there was a page on a website called fandom.net, and that page was titled Leonardo's, and then it has the hyphen, ideas. that was literally swearing up and down that Swat Kats was a film to be released in 2025 that was starring former Dream Street member Jesse McCartney. Before we go any further, in case that does ring a bell or it doesn't, Jesse McCartney is the voice of Roxas from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. He is also Terrence in the Tinkerbell movies, and he lends his voice to a version of Nightwing in one of the, I think it's Young Justice franchises in the DCU. And he's a very famous singer that all the girls go crazy over. Now, aside from Jesse, allegedly, this alleged film was also supposed to include Skeet Ulrich of Riverdale and Dakota Fanning of Uptown Girls. I literally found that post to be irate, inducing, and satire-based. It is not real. I honestly was kind of curious to see if it was, and I spent some time looking to see if it was an actual real movie. It wasn't. To be fair, as a fan of Dream Street, past and present, I would have really loved to see Jesse McCartney be in something as unique as that. Would have been interesting. Probably would have had my money at the box office very quickly. Anyways, final thoughts. What do you think about this podcast, my precious flock? Do you think you'll ever have a chance to see a SWAT Kats reboot? If so, do you agree with the casting that I mentioned? If not, who would you cast as the beloved characters? And what company would you like to see back it the most? Tell me all your answers in the comment below. And as always, that's it for now. Until next time, Raven